Yo, what's happening? This is Late Night CJ, and we back at it again, but with a spin. As you can see, as you read in the thumbnail, I have this new series that I'm starting called the Relationship Report Card. Now let's get this understood off top. This is not rating as far as who you are and trying to drag people, the whole red pill manosphere type thing. No. We are grading compatibility. Now the age group for the male that the woman is compatible with that we're going for is between the ages of 35 to 49. Think about that for a second. 35 to 49. Now, the lady that we will be rating today is the auntie. All right, why you say it like that? That's just how I said it. All right. Now the auntie's age range is between the ages of 37 to 49. Think about that again, 37 to 49. All right, let's go with the origins. Just to give you a visual, we have typically the auntie might be built like this. But sometimes the auntie, the little slim, thick one, slim fit one, might be built like this. Now, aunties typically are diamonds in the rough. When you really think about them, because of the age range, it's like they're still young enough to have an appeal for a younger type of dude, but they've had some life experiences that makes them a little bit more mature, that makes them more attractive. Yeah, I guess you could say attractive to, say, a older gentleman. Not old, not no OG, but an older gentleman where he could be like, okay, she got enough sense, right? Now the origins of the auntie, let's be honest, typically they have a rougher start. They might have had a child at an early age, maybe a few of them. Maybe they got married young, you know what I mean? And they have, say, an older grade of children, you know? But then they might have had a relationship a little bit later on in life. So in some ways, the auntie, their children's ages might range from, they might have a 23-year-old son and an 11-year-old son. You're like, dang. Because you know, sometimes you'll be having a conversation with a lady and she'll be like, oh, I have 3 kids. And as an older gentleman myself, 3 kids doesn't scare us off because I have 3 sons myself, all from the same marriage. But you know, you'll be like, oh, and throughout the conversation, you'll get to talking, and before you know it, she'll be like, oh yeah, my oldest son's 23. You'll be like, all right, cool, so he out the house. And you're like, and then my daughter, she's in college, she just turned 19. All right, cool. And then I was married a second time. Oh, that's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? And my youngest son is 11. You're like, dang. Nah, not that that's a problem. You know, life be lifing, as they say. But also, because she had children young, she's developed a certain level of discipline that is uncanny with the big sis and little sis range. She's had to have some structure in life that became by default. It was forced that she has to have structure or everything would have turned to chaos. You understand me? The auntie tends to be very much so organized in her way of living. You know what I mean? Her house is like immaculate. She does things in accordance with time and manner and standards. The auntie ranks very high in that level. You know what I'm saying? She's also very much so has a range. Like I said, she was young enough that she still appeals to a younger audience, but mature enough that an older gentleman can appreciate what she brings to the table. The pros of the auntie. One of the pros of the auntie is she knows herself. She knows who she is. She's been through some things. She knows all about her internal ways. She's the one that'll tell you, don't play in my face. The auntie, like I said, has been through some things, so she's battle tested. That's one of the pros. You know you're not gonna get this wishy-washy kind of version of her. You know what I mean? She's emotionally grounded in a sense as well. You know what I'm saying? She just not finna just fly off the handle and be all irrational and just going crazy unless you take it in. Once you take her there, you know, she might have to show you that she used to get busy back in the day. He'd be like, dang, I thought this was this little sweet old lady. But also, another thing is she's about her business. You understand me? The auntie typically might have been at her job from 15 to 20 years. A little office gig, she might work at the DMV, she might drive a bus, whatever it is. She's been there long, so she has a certain dependability that goes a long way with her. Let's see. Also, she has a low tolerance for the foolishness, which means that she don't play with you either. She gonna keep it a certain level of real with you that is based in honesty. So when you come at her playing games and you got a hard luck story, not even a hard luck, but you kind of playing, you think you being slick, and she gonna be like, she ain't gonna act crazy, she gonna let you talk. She gonna watch you just talk yourself right off a cliff. She gonna be, and that's a beautiful thing. Also, one of the pros is she's adventurous. She's at a point in her life where she want to explore. Aunties stay on cruises with their daiquiris, huh? Yeah. They stay on adventurous in the Bahamas. You dig what I'm saying? Also, if we're talking about physical characteristics, they stay with a standing hair appointment. You are not going to see them with their edges not laid. You are not going to see them with a $5 wig with the glue and the edges peeling back. You are not going to see them with some lashes that look like broom brushes. You are not going to see them without a full set. This fingernail missing, this one missing, and they steady talking, and you like, wow, really? They are going to have the full set mani and pedi. Smell good, moisturized, huh? Steady lotion. You will never catch an auntie ashy. They stay on point as far as knowing what is considered age compliant as far as they clothes. They are not gonna be dressed like no 16-year-old girl. The auntie you can take to the company Christmas party, and she knows how to act in a room full of executives. She ain't gonna be like, we starting to turn up. No. Now, if she on the cruise, you might get that from the auntie. Yes, especially when the beat come, and then blow the whistle. She out there, she blowing the whistle and she backing that thing up on the cruise. The cons of the auntie. Sometimes the auntie is too honest. Too honest. She might not spare your feelings because she ain't got time. She's trying to handle business. She got her job. She got her kids. She raising her son by herself. So she ain't got time. So she's a little blunt at times. And that can be a put off. Let's be honest. That can be a put off because sometimes the sensitivity that you might need, she doesn't have the space to give it to you. Now, another thing about the auntie is sometimes she can be a little hypocritical. She'll tell somebody else how young they is and that they don't deserve this yet when I was your age and everything. But then when you hit her with something, she be like, I'm grown. You don't talk to me. I've been grown a long time. They always so grown. You understand me? And they're a little bit rigid. Now, if you go back to the origin point, they've had to be disciplined in a level that's uncanny to most because they've had to restore order in a life that started off kind of chaotic, if you will. So they've had to set boundaries, hard lines, because when you have a household and you raising it as a single mom, you just can't allow certain things. You can't just, like if you notice, aunties don't usually bring dudes to their house right away. That is their safe space. That is the home of their children. That is their peace. That is their sanctuary. They are not just going to bring anybody off in there. They are not easily impressed. You can't just pull up in a nice car and she be like, and then she's willing to risk it all, throw it all in the air, and just, okay, let's be together. Nah, auntie, you got to have more than that. Auntie want to know if you got insurance. Auntie want to know if you are a homeowner. Auntie want to know how long you been at your job. What kind of job? Because you could be a shift supervisor at Jack in the Box for 17 years and she ain't impressed. You understand me? Where you going in life? Because like I said, she's adventurous. She want to know if she can go cruising with this man or not. She want to know, can they go to the Bahamas? Can they go fly out to Hawaii? Can they go family reunions in New Orleans? Will he be willing to go? Or is he going to sit there and be sitting, if he do go, sitting there in her pocket the whole time? No, ain't happening. Not with auntie, And the final thing about the auntie as far as cons is because she's done it so long on her own and because she's so disciplined, sometimes they can come across as too independent. I don't need no man, and they will say it. I've been doing this for so long. I don't need no man. But they say, how'd it go? I can do bad all by myself. They always will let a man know how much they don't need them. And as a man myself, there's a certain part of us that does need to be needed. It gives us purpose to know that we are needed, not like needed in a sense like y'all dependent, but need us in order for us to develop purpose. And I'll go into that in another video. But that is the cons of the auntie, in short. So in conclusion, the auntie has a lot of pros and cons that go a long way. Now, as a man myself, the curator in the household is the male in the sense that what do you allow as far as the safe space for the auntie to roam in? Do you create an environment that develops more of the side of the cons, or do you develop something for her to thrive in her pros? Now, if you are a chaotic individual with no standards and no discipline, and you cheating and your phone is ringing off the hook and you're just all over the place, then you will definitely get the cons in abundance. But if you are a man of some means, a man of standards, a man of principles, you actually have ethics, a code you run by. You're not just out here in the streets no more. You are trying to develop and build an empire. Then the auntie is definitely who you need in your life. And since we are going with that type of man to see compatibility, because we are not dragging the women, we are just grading compatibility, the auntie gets a A-. Now you're thinking, man, that's kind of high. You had a lot of pros, cons, okay, what it is. The reason why the auntie gets an A- is because of how it fits. Now the other ones that you have are little sis, big sis, then you have auntie, then you have the veterans, okay? Little sis, too young, still want to be in the club, still got it popping. She still want to date the YNs and all of that. She want to turn up, hey, clocking, all of that. Big sis is still developing. She's on her way to auntie, but she still kind of meshes more with little sis than auntie. And veterans, their plane is landing. They landed, you know what I'm saying? The homebodies don't want to do much. They might go to a family reunion, but they're not active enough. And the gentleman that we speak of still is young enough where he's relatable to young, but still mature enough, but not too mature and too grown and too old that his plane is landing as well. That's why the auntie is ranked A-. That's a strong A-. You understand me? It's more leaning towards an A+ than a B+. But this is Late Night CJ. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm glad if you did enjoy this. And if you need more, I got more. 100. Hey, auntie.